This recording is mostly aimed at people who are not British, mainly people who are American, who are either writing in a British fandom, or who are writing a British character in another fandom, or in their own fandom, if you know what I mean. Because there are a few misconceptions about the British, and especially in this case, a subject that is very close to my heart and really, really ticks me off when it's used wrong, how the British talk. So I'd just like to share a few facts with you on the British language. Fact number 1. Saying your character has a British accent is probably the vaguest and least descriptive thing you could possibly say about how they talked, short of saying they talked with their mouth. You see, there were something like 300 regional accents in England, and there are like 5 other countries in Britain besides England, and all of them have totally different accents. Most of them have more than one different accent. Now I'm going to apologise in advance for this bit to people who actually do know how the British talk, because I am really, really, really bad at impersonating other people's accents. But I'm just going to try and give you a rough idea of the sort of variety there is in British accents. I am very British, I am. I must say that I am also very British. Is anyone up for a spot of lawn tennis? We're just taking tractor up onto moor, when I thought to myself, I'm bloody British, I am. Away, mon, have a wee or... Okay, that's seriously all I can say in a Geordie accent. Just 'cause I'm a chav don't mean I'm not British, like, innit? Wales is a part of Britain too. Aye, and so's bonny old Scotland. Jimmy. In case you didn't know, that was an accurate representation of how everyone from Glasgow talks. And I'm not even going to go into the whole Northern Ireland thing, because 1, thorny political issues, not sure if really a part of Britain sort of thing, but mostly because 2, the only Irish accent I can do is a really, really hammed up one from Dublin. Not that, like, the last 5 accents I just did weren't really, 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 really hammed up, but you know what I mean, I was trying. Anyway, the point was, if you ever describe your character as having a sexy British accent, and I mean using the words a sexy British accent, I think you should just know that I, for one, will be sitting on my end of the line on this side of the Atlantic, reading it, and mentally substituting everything they say for a hideous mockney mostly reminiscent of that used by Dick Van Dyke. A chirpy Cockney sparrow who will say such fascinating things as, "Oh, it's a happy holiday with you, Harry Potter!" At this point, it may also be worth noting that Harry Potter, in response to that, will not be thinking, "Oh, what a sexy British accent this person has, who has a British accent like me." He will be thinking, bloody hell, a real-life Cockney. Fact number 2. When and where your character is from does make a difference. For example, if somebody in Torchwood 3 encounters a random passerby on the street, the chances are that they will be Welsh, because, after all, Torchwood 3 is in Cardiff. If a character from Torchwood 1 encounters somebody on the streets, they will probably be English, because Torchwood 1 is in London. However, London is full of randomers, so that's not a guarantee. If somebody is in Hogsmeade and has always lived in Hogsmeade, they will probably be Scottish, because believe it or not, Hogsmeade is in Scotland. Scotland, believe it or not, isn't England. As for the time factor, it's really worth considering where influences on the English and the British language come from. When radio started up, there was probably a bit more American culture coming in there. When TV started up, even more so. Now that the internet is king, we basically just leech off your language like a load of leechy leeches in a leech pond, and the youth of today tend to talk fairly American, and we tend to put on American accents without realising it, speaking for ourselves. However, the practical upshot of all of this is that you really can't get away with giving characters from the 70s, cough, marauders, cough, the accents or the voices of the Americans. It doesn't work. To my highly trained British ear, it simply sounds kind of ridiculous, really. Also, this isn't really on the subject of Britishisms, but to all you writers who consider giving your character a faux Shakespearean accent to be oh so sexy and alluring, it's not. Because when you drop it in all these iths, at random point iths, it really ceases to be ancient and interesting ith, and merely becomes annoying ith, verily and forsooth ith. Seriously, knock it off. I don't know where you got it from, but it scares me and it breaks my brain. Ith. It's kind of addictive, ith. And now to the third and final part of the lesson. Words the British do not say. Word 1. Gotten. I'm sorry, we don't use gotten. We haven't used gotten since probably the turn of the 19th century. The word we use is, and probably will be for a long time, got. Never gotten. Just got. I will give an example as to how it's different, but it's probably enough of an example that I don't know when it's grammatically correct to use gotten for the example. Word number 2. Pants. Now we all know this is one that comes up a lot. So let me break it down for you. Pants are underwear. They are not what you wear as external clothing. They are what you wear under your clothing. So if you say that your character puts on his pants and then goes outside, most of your British readers will imagine them going outside in their boxers, which is not a pleasant image if you're describing Severus Snape. Of course, if you're describing Jack Harkness, then we can talk. And on the subject of clothing, let's talk about jumpers, shall we? A jumper is not a dress, to a British mindset at least. A jumper is, well, kind of what you call a sweater, although a sweater's a bit more specific. A jumper is something you put over your top half to keep you warm. It's not a dress. And one which really bugs me, although I don't really know why, is cell phone. It crops up a lot, but in Britain we don't have cell phones. What we have are mobile phones. And it's even more confusing if you call it a cell. Because, to me at least, I can't speak for the whole of Britain, obviously, but to me, what a cell is either a cell as in stem cell, or a cell as in jail cell. To wrap up this admittedly very abridged section on what the British will not say, let's talk about sports, specifically 2 sports. First of all, the word soccer. Now I'm not saying nobody ever says the word soccer in Britain, because that's not true. We do. But the fact is, what you refer to as soccer, we refer to as football, as you probably know. Because of this, we do not refer to it as soccer in the general run of things. We refer to it as football. The fact is that what you call football isn't football. What you call football is kind of like rugby, but played with pads, because apparently Americans are too wimpy to play rugby without pads. It's not football. We call football football because it's a game in which you foot the ball. Your foot connects with the ball, therefore foot plus ball, football. Yours isn't just football, it's also handball, shoulder ball, chest ball, I don't even know. It's not football. And the second sport is baseball. Because we don't play baseball. We play a game that's quite like baseball. We call it rounders. It's generally used as an excuse for PE teachers to skive off for a lesson and not have to plan anything. But the fact is, you would never have a competitive rounders team. Baseball, as it exists in America, is pretty much a non-entity in Britain. So we won't be talking about baseball. Because up until a couple of years ago, I for one didn't know what baseball was. And just as an aside, it's not about quantity. It's not about how many Britishisms you drop into one tiny little fraction of speech. A character who says bloody every third bloody word of every bloody sentence is not bloody British. They are bloody weird, and they will get more than a few bloody raised eyebrows from bloody normal people. Because it really is bloody stupid to say bloody so bloody often. Bloody, 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 bloody wankers. Also, bloody, wanker, bugger and shite are not the only swear words we have in Britain. Honestly. So, armed with this new knowledge, go forth and conquer. in a very British way, and probably with tea and muffins afterwards. I can do that with a straight face, because I'm British.